ahead and just jump right into it and open it up.
Ben, your players have talked a lot about the change of culture here. Kind of a two-parter for you. What is your thoughts on the concept of culture? I know it's probably sort of a buzzword to you, but what are your thoughts on culture?
Yeah, I think what we've done here is we just established how we're going to go about our business, and the guys have kind of taken to it, and I think it's come to life. So I guess that's really what they're talking about.
One of the things you talked about when you got hired was the accountability piece and being who you say you're going to be and doing what you say you're going to do and then attaching consequences. How do you believe that's come to life in your first year as a head coach?
Well, yeah, I think anytime things kind of go off the train tracks, if you will, you just gotta acknowledge it and bring attention to it, and then keep it moving from there. So I think our guys have done a great job. If uh, discipline starts to lack a little bit, then we got good veteran leadership to help keep everybody in line, and good coaching staff to help get us back and go in the right direction. So there's a lot of that going on. I think when you got a group of really good coaches, experienced coaches that know what it looks like, they have a good way of communicating to the players, and been saying all along that our veteran leadership does a phenomenal job with the locker room as well.
You talk about seeing the confidence in the locker room after the first two games, the rough start, and then things kind of taking off from there.
Well, yeah, I think kind of thought about it after the Vegas game that the way that one went at the end, it said it behind closed doors that win like that could have been the best thing for us, because I think you really felt the belief starting to build then. Just that we're close in a game at the end, and we found a way to win instead of lose, and so that moniker's kind of stuck with us there the rest of the way, and we've been in these close one-score games and been able to come out on the right side of it for the most part. And so I do think there's a belief that when the game's on the line there and it's close in the fourth quarter, that we can come away with the win. And it's just this pursuit of getting better each and every week, because I think the guys still see that we're capable of a lot more than what we put on tape already. So combination of all that.
You've been really complimentary of your assistants all year. You've also said these guys weren't like your friends or anything when you hired them. What was the common thread you were looking for? Is there a way to boil down like what your kind of assistant looked like, and how have you seen it kind of show itself this year?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is you got to be a good person, and we've got a number of guys that are really good people, high integrity, high character. They're concerned about the well-being of these players. Obviously, we're charged with getting the most out of the team performance-wise, but they really care long-term about these guys and their welfare. And so I think it starts there, and then it's a balancing act as you fill out your staff of coordinators, position coaches, assistant position coaches. Just each guy has strengths and weaknesses, and as you start filling it out, you kind of feel like, okay, we could use a little bit more here or a little bit more there, and I think that kind of came to life for us as we're building this thing out. And I feel really good about how everybody complements each other. I think we've gotten a good rhythm as the season's gone along as a staff of what to expect and how we can best serve each other. So I'm really pleased. Year one, usually it's usually not your best staff. At least that's been my experience in this league. Is it takes a season or two to kind of get it all in order. But like I said, I just feel like we've really hit the ground running here year one.
You said that with the balance you're looking for a little more here, a little more there, a little less. Is that temperament? Is that expertise? What is kind of the push-pull?
Well, yeah, it's experience. It's some guys are maybe a little bit better relationships on the grass, bringing energy. Other guys might be better idea guys, and in terms of the scheme and the X's and the O's and all that. And so all of us like to think that we're the most well-rounded coaches on the planet, but that's just not the case. We all have our positives and negatives, and so just trying to complement each other and build the best cohesive unit possible.
And when you look at your interior, Joe, Drew, and Jonah, having them out there every week, knowing their experience, their skill level, and how they played, what's it been able to do for you as a play caller? What's it do for Caleb, running backs? Like, how is it, just those three guys, the impact that they've had?
Well, I think it starts with, we talked about them gelling together and trusting each other. the combinations on all of our run game is really sound. I think they do a good job communicating in pass pro as well as we're passing off stunts and whatnot. And so I think it starts there. But yeah, I think all three of those guys are playing at a really high level, Pro Bowl level players, all three of them. Hopefully they get the accolades that they deserve because you know, we wouldn't be where we are offensively right now if it weren't for them holding down that middle and keeping the depth of the pocket clear for us. And certainly in the running game, they've had a large impact as well. You know, Drew does a great job. He's like the quarterback of the offensive line, just making sure we're all identified and on the same page in terms of who we're targeted to. And I think the guys do a really good job just meshing together.
And to marry up with Kevin's question, in the spring, you guys had to formulate a vision for what you wanted on the interior of the offensive line. You had to communicate that to Ryan and put together an action plan. What do you recall about sort of laying that out and then obviously aggressively going out and getting those three guys within a week span?
Yeah, I mean, we were very fortunate that that they were three guys that we felt very comfortable with. It's not. I don't think it's every offseason that, whether through trade or free agency, those guys are available, and yet we were able to come to some agreements to get them in our building, which was huge for us. And so, yeah, we've got. You know, we talk about position prototypes and what we want as we're building this thing together through the draft and free agency, what we want players to look like and how they can best fit our offense and defense. But we felt like all three of them were high caliber players. You know, Ryan had been with Joe there in Kansas City, and so he had a relationship with him. I knew Jonah. I think that certainly helps to a large degree. And then you do your homework and your background check on Drew and all that. And so, yeah, I think it's the communication of how we wanted to build a roster and how it's come to fruition has been really cool to see.
And how does your competitiveness fuel you in your individual career? Do you have this drive this year to prove yourself as a head coach now that you've gotten the shot, kind of like a player would have if they finally got their shot?
I think anytime you're, I think most individuals in this league, whether you're a player or a coach, you're always looking to prove yourself. Year in, year out, you know, things are forgotten so quickly, and so each year you're kind of trying to show that you still got it. You know, my role's a little bit different. I don't compete on game day from a physical standpoint, and so I just try to do the best I can to help our guys out so to put them in the best positions. You know, I live vicariously through them is how I see it, and I want to see them do well and succeed, and really I see them work so hard over the course of the week and over the course of the season, over the course of the year when you include off season, that you want nothing more than to see it pay off on game day for them, and they get the respect they deserve.
You compete against the other coaches though, like LaFleur, Flores, Dan. I mean, do you view that does that kind of spark you competitively going against?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know your opponent. I think you know, as an offensive play caller, I always put in my head who the defensive play caller is and try to figure out some tendencies and things like that. But yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily this isn't. We're not the ones playing, and so I don't think you can really put it in that kind of box.
Is TJ trending toward playing, and what would this return mean?
He's had a good week, so yeah, we're hopeful. We'll find out more today. Another day of practice.
Can I ask about Rome? What's your level of concern with Rome?
Yeah, he hasn't practiced the last 2 days. We'll see what it looks like here today and make a decision after that. Thank you.